Hello there, I hope you're well. Today I'm going to be talking about combination feeding. It is something that I mentioned that I was doing a while back on Instagram, and quite a few of you were interested to know more about it, so I thought I'd make this video to share with you our experience of combination feeding. So first up, let me explain what I mean by combination feeding. So when I talk about combination feeding, I'm talking about a combination of feeding through breastfeeding and through bottle feeding. Now that could be through express milk or through formula, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we did. Now I'm not a professional, I'm not a midwife or a health visitor or anything like that, so I'm just sharing with you my experience in the hope that it might be reassuring to you if it's something you've been thinking about, or just to hear another perspective really. So we started combination feeding Autumn quite early on. Where I live, the midwives tell you that you shouldn't try giving your baby a bottle or a dummy until they're 6 weeks old. That's the information where we live. I don't know what it is where you live. We actually started before that, so it's up to you to go and do your own research and find out what the information is where you live, but we chose to try it before 6 weeks. I was lucky that Autumn was really good at breastfeeding from really early on. She straight away latched on after she was born. I was really lucky. This was my first experience of breastfeeding because although Autumn is my third baby, this was my first time breastfeeding. I'd bottle fed the other two for different reasons, but I wanted to try breastfeeding Autumn and it went really well. One thing I wanted to say quite early on was that although we did combination feeding, so we did a mixture of breastfeeding and bottle feeding, I feel like that giving Autumn a bottle helped with my breastfeeding journey in that I was able to do it a lot longer than I would have done if I was exclusively breastfeeding. And for that, I'm grateful that I was able to do that, because it meant that I could continue to breastfeed a little bit longer than I would have done probably otherwise. So what we did was at about 2 weeks, so Autumn was exclusively breastfed for the first couple of weeks. Then about 2 weeks, I think it was, we tried giving her a bottle, and we gave her first of all a bottle of expressed breast milk. So I'd used a pump and I'd expressed milk. We put it in the bottle and she took it absolutely no problem. I think because she was still really young, she just took whatever we gave her because she didn't know any different. And I know they say to wait till 6 weeks because you can get nipple confusion and they might have difficulty going between breast and bottle. We didn't have that experience. We found that she still was really good at latching on and had no problems breastfeeding. So that's what we did, and we started off by just giving her one bottle a day. In a 24-hour period she got one bottle, and that was in the evening. And I gave her the first one. I know sometimes people will say that baby won't take from mum because they'll smell your breast milk. I didn't find that. She took it from me, no problem. And once I knew that she was happy enough to take that bottle, I was happy for Andrew to give her the bottle, and that was a really nice bonding experience between them, because for that first couple of weeks it was only me feeding her, obviously, because I was breastfeeding. So she would get one bottle of milk in the evening from Andrew, and we did that for quite some time. My intention was always to express milk to go in her bottle, but I found that because she was feeding fairly regularly, I didn't have much time to express in between her normal breastfeeds. So we tried her with formula, and again she took that absolutely no problem. So she would have breast milk from me the majority of the time. She'd have breastfeeds, and then she'd have that one bottle of formula in the evening. The health visitors say that you should give where we live anyway, that you should give your baby vitamin drops, but if your baby is having 2 or more bottles in a 24-hour period, they don't need those vitamin drops because they get them in the formula. They have vitamins and things added to them. So we quite quickly, I would say, maybe after a couple of weeks, we moved up to 2 bottles in a 24-hour period, and it just was reassuring to me to know that she was getting the vitamins and things. But we also had the benefit of breastfeeding because we still had that closeness together. She was still getting all the goodness of my breast milk, and I also knew that she was getting the vitamins and things from the formula, so we kind of had the best of both. And it also meant that Andrew was able to give her bottles, which was really nice that they could have that time together. and that bonding experience, and it also gave me a little bit of a break. I found it quite, if you're breastfeeding, you'll know it's quite all-consuming, the fact that you are the only one that can meet that need. I mean, it's nice, that is a nice thing as well, but it can feel overwhelming at times. And the fact that Andrew was able to give her that bottle, I knew that if need be, if I was ill, or if I wanted to nip out, or if I wanted to sleep, that I knew that he was able to give that bottle and she'd be fine without me. So that for me, that was reassuring. And then we gradually increased the amount of bottles that she was getting. That was our choice. We didn't have to do that. We could have just stuck with the 1 or 2 bottles in the 24-hour period. I chose to start gradually increasing them. And eventually, when I decided that I had finished breastfeeding, so we stopped breastfeeding at about 5 months, I was ready to stop breastfeeding, and we just gradually increased the bottles until she was just getting bottles. And it was a really nice, easy, smooth transition for both of us, because one thing that people don't really speak about, I found, was the fact that when you stop breastfeeding, because when you breastfeed you have all these endorphins and things, the feel-good hormones. When you stop breastfeeding, you have a real sort of slump in your mood. You feel really down, well, I did anyway, because you're missing out on those endorphins, and also it's a really strange time because you're it's the end of a period that you've spent feeding. So it was we were able to really gradually, in a way that was comfortable for us both. So I wanted to make this video about combination feeding because when I was looking for information, there wasn't a whole lot of information. There was some, but not a lot. There was a lot of warnings about things that you shouldn't do, like you shouldn't give them bottles before 6 weeks, and things that could go wrong, like nipple confusion. But I couldn't find many stories of positive experiences, and that's why I wanted to share this, because I had a really positive experience of combination feeding. And like I say, it meant that I breastfed for longer, because if I was exclusively breastfeeding and I didn't have the option of giving a bottle, I think like 1 bottle in 24 hours, I think I would have just moved on to bottle feeding, because I didn't like the feeling of, I felt a bit panicked about the fact that I couldn't ever leave her, or if anything was to happen to me, like if I was to get ill or something, she wouldn't be able to feed. So just having that reassurance that I knew someone else could give her a bottle meant that I could breastfeed for that bit longer. One of the other positives was, quite early on, I had really painful nipples with breastfeeding, which is very common, and it meant that giving that bottle gave me a little bit of a break in between feeds, that like a bit of a longer gap between feeds, that I could sort of rest them up a little bit, and it helped me to breastfeed for longer because I was in so much pain. But just having that little break where Andrew could give her a bottle and I could slap on lots of Lansano and give them a break, kind of gave me that little bit of reprieve and encouraged me to breastfeed that little bit longer. So that was my positive experience of combination feeding. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions, anything I didn't cover, please let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. And yeah, I can also make a follow-up video if there's anything obvious that I've missed, because yeah, I might have missed something. But let me know if you want to know any more, and I'd love to hear your positive experiences in the comments. It'd be really helpful for other people watching this video. If you enjoy this kind of video, let me know by giving a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not already, and let me know your requests for videos down in the comments, because I love to make videos that you want to see. But thanks so much for watching today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!